Hello and welcome to the Arsenal BiteSize Podcast. I'm your host Clayton at ClaytAFC on Twitter, joined by my co-host at FPL Nima. How you doing?
Yeah, happy Friday, mate.
Happy
Looking forward
Friday.
to the weekend, and obviously we play on the Monday night, so
Yep.
we'll know how kind of City and Liverpool have done first, which is
Yeah, exactly. Who have
good
Liverpool got
position.
again? Because City have Man United, right?
Yeah, so I think Liverpool are away at Nottingham Forest.
Do you know what? You never know with
They have a
injuries
lot
and
of injuries, right? Like the team they rolled out for the FA Cup just yesterday or 2 days ago, whenever it was. There was like no one on the bench from the attacking players. Like
yeah.
everyone was out. Darwin, Jota, Salah. You never know.
That
You
could
never
be a
know.
banana skin game. Do you know what? It's really frustrating me because you know me, right? I'm a proper stats guy, and like you're seeing all the kind of expected versus actual data doing the
Mm.
rounds at the minute, and it's like Liverpool should not be where they are.
It's
So
so frustrating, yeah.
yeah, so hoping that their bubble bursts a little bit, and then it's just a two-horse race between us and City. But let's just do what we can. Obviously, like you said, we're going to Sheffield United on Monday. I'm potentially gonna be there. I've had a message from someone saying they're looking for me to get a ticket, so I'll know by tomorrow whether I'm going or not. I've never been to Bramall Lane, so that'll be quality. But before we do get into it, obviously shout out Uncle Mike who's in the chat. Morning, lads. And I just want to say I hope everyone's listening on podcast, not YouTube, because I've gone clean shaven and I regret it instantaneously. I look about 14 years old and I don't like it, but
I was just thinking you look like you're about to go do your A-level exams or something.
Um, yeah, just taking Waneri out of the squad, just stick me in. I look about 14 years old right now. But yeah,
That's
it's
so funny.
I guess yeah. So good, doing what we usually do, predicted lineups and stuff. The team against Newcastle was obviously Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, and Kivior. Jorginho came in to partner Rice and Odegaard in midfield, and the front three was Martinelli, Havertz, and Saka. But on the injury front, the noises are positive. Like Timber's
Mm.
in full training, even though he won't be in the matchday squad on Monday. Party has been deemed available because he's done 2 consecutive sessions. To quote Arteta, Zinchenko and Tomiyasu are possible, but we have to wait and see, especially with the last 2 sessions that we have on Saturday and Sunday. If that's the case, they might be available on Monday. So if they train well tomorrow, Sunday, you never know. Jesus, Mikel said he doesn't expect him to feature for 90 minutes, but he could be involved from kickoff. Um, so it's all sounding
Wow.
positive. Like, and suddenly you look at that squad, and I said in one of the group chats we're in, like, there's going to be some really talented people that miss out on the matchday squad when everyone's fit. So I think it will be interesting to see how he manages the squad over the next couple of games. Sheffield United away and then Brentford at home. I think that's 2 games where if we're winning comfortably, like I think he'll flex the squad quite a lot. But what do you think he'll go with starting 11 wise? Do you think it will be Jesus from the off or Trossard or Havertz? Like we're spoilt for choice right now.
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think for the predictions for the Burnley match on, sorry, not Burnley, Sheffield United match on Monday, I feel so bad. I treat all these relegation candidates the same. They're all just teams that I don't expect to see next year in the league. But no offense to them. I'm sorry, guys. So Sheffield United, I just kind of feel like maybe this game still comes a little bit too early,
For
and
who?
just for any of those players
Oh,
who are
okay.
coming back. Yeah. So part of me feels that someone like say Kivior, I just don't see how he won't start again. Like to
Yeah.
kind of reward him for what we've seen. Mikel's done the interview about him saying, we've been hard on him, not letting him play, and then when he's played, he has to play in a position he's never played in his career. Like it's taken some time, but it feels like we have a player there now, and it's really nice to see the fans getting behind him, and
Yeah.
it's good
I
to
actually
see
met
that
him
he's
the other
turning
day
up.
in
I
my
was gonna
local
ask you,
park.
yeah, I forgot about that. What happened there? There's a
I
selfie
was
of you with him.
yeah, I was I'll stick it on our podcast Twitter account.
Yeah, yeah, definitely
It's
do,
not the
definitely do.
best photo, which is why I've not shared it. But basically, I was just walking in my local park, and I was like to myself in my head, "Is that Jakub Kivior?" And then a classic like awkward fan going up. I took my headphones out. I think he could see I was about to approach him because the way I took my headphones out. Oh, is that are you Jacob? Keep you like he's like, yes. I was like, oh, I'm a
That's
big
the fun.
Arsenal fan. Can I get a photo, please? And then took a photo, and I was just like, oh, you're playing brilliantly at the minute, but he just did not look like he gave a shit.
Yeah, I think he's probably like not too confident, I guess, on the language yet
He
either,
seemed
right?
very, yeah, like I wouldn't say moody, but like he seemed quite like in his own bubble sort of thing. And even like he was walking his dogs with his girlfriend, so I felt kind of bad interrupting anyway. But like I'll always be like that. I think I'll always be a little fangirl whenever I see an Arsenal player. So
I
yeah,
think
that,
I would. I wouldn't be able to hold myself back from asking for the photo. It would be too difficult for me, man.
yeah. I think the worst that they can say is no, right? So
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll
and
share the
most
photo.
of them are okay. So most of them seem to be open to it as long as you're like
Yeah.
a real fan and stuff.
I think that's the thing. It was like 2 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon. Like there was no one in the park, and I felt like yeah, it's okay. Like I think it's always different when you see them like playing with their kids and like in intimate settings and
Or like
stuff.
I've seen
But
people go up to people like they're in a restaurant eating at a table and just
yeah,
go
like
up
I
like
wouldn't do that.
midway through their course while they're cutting up the steak or whatever.
Yeah, the area I live is there's a few people there though because I saw Ryan Mason in a restaurant, and that was after we beat Liverpool and I was in my Arsenal jumper and like I could see him looking at me in the window and I really wanted to give him some, but I was like, nah, he's having dinner with his wife. Don't be a prick.
Yeah, don't be
And
that guy. But I might have to come to your area and start
yeah,
scouting
mate.
football players.
There's a celebrity barber that his barbershop's like round the corner. So I think that's where all of them go because I've seen a lot of the Arsenal Academy lot there as well. So yeah. But
Okay.
anyway, tangent.
But
Boring
yeah,
the
no,
podcast
I think that's
listeners.
still pretty cool that you got to see Jakob Kivior. We'll definitely put the photo up, guys. So check out on the Twitter. But yeah, in terms of that, for me, it's this idea that I still feel that even though they're all almost back, you remember I said, like, I think maybe a couple of weeks ago, I was like, I just felt that there was something inside me telling me that a lot of these players could have played in this
Yeah,
period
but
if
they're
we
being
really
saved.
wanted, but they're being saved for like the more important games where we broke down last year. So, with kind of the information we have now that Chelsea have to kind of obviously avoid the game against us in
Oh
what would have
shit!
been a
Yeah, that
few
game's been
weeks.
postponed now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're gonna have a massive break. So once we play on March, I think it's March 12th, we don't play again till March 31st. So with the international break and the game now no longer there on March
There's no
16th,
reason to
there's
rush
a
him.
20-day gap. So I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
wait, we play like two Premier League games in March, and like we play City on the 31st, sure, but like we're here on March 1st today. This game's on March 4th. We play one more game, so
Yeah.
it's almost like just throw it all against Porto, put the whole body out there, put your lives
Yeah.
on the line, and then you
And
know
then
you got
rest
like
up.
2.5 weeks.
That's a really good point. I hadn't thought of it like that. In my head, I was like, oh, I wonder if he's gearing them up to get back for Porto. But maybe it is a case with that postponement of he's just looking at City and like even against Porto, sure, have the likes of Jesus, Zinchenko, Tomiyasu, Partey in the squad, but back the starting 11, the combination of the starting 11 that's been playing recently, and just have them almost treat it as like from City away, that's a block of however many games it will be, like 8 to 10, like just everyone fit and
Because that will
firing
be
from that point.
congested as hell, yeah. Because in April
Yeah,
now, the
especially if
way it
we go
looks like
through.
it's gonna land, yeah, if we go through as well, the way it looks like it's gonna land now is we're gonna have to potentially play Chelsea on the Thursday night and play Tottenham in the North London derby on the Sunday.
I've seen that, yeah, and
So
that
that looks
squad's
quite
going to be so
intense.
key then. Yeah, it's a really good point. So with that in mind, what lineup do you think you'll go with
Yeah,
on
so
Monday
with
then?
that in mind, so I think he sticks with the obviously the back four, so Kivior, Gabriel, Saliba, White, and Raya in goal. Um, I feel like Jorginho, I want to say he starts because
Okay.
it seems like Trossard had a bit of a knock. So I
Oh,
think,
does he?
yeah, so I almost feel like it is like the exact same 11 again because they would have had like an 8-day break since the last match. So
Yeah.
they've had such a long break that it's like, why would any of them need to not start, right? Like, I
Do
just
you
don't, and
know?
especially if Trossard's got a knock.
Do you have any information about that? That's not that's
Yeah,
the
let me
first
have
time
a
I'm hearing about the Trossard knock.
yeah, let me have a look at what the quote said exactly. I'm just on Premier
Because
Injuries.
if well, like I said, that's news to me, and my starting 11, well, not my starting 11, my predicted 11 would be Trossard in for Jorginho and kind of back to the same system that played against Burnley and West Ham with Trossard
Yeah.
and Havertz interchanging. Just because I don't, as much as we've had an 8-day rest, I don't think this is a game we need Jorginho in. I think Jorginho comes in tactically for some of the big games, like where we kind of need to control the tempo. He allows Rice to go on and suffocate high up. I just don't think we'll need that against Sheffield United at all. But if Trossard has a knock, then yeah, that changes things.
Yeah, so it's not on Premier injuries. So it might be that it was more of one of the
Was it a Twitter
rumors.
rumor?
Yeah, maybe that it
Okay.
wasn't like an official quote from Arteta himself, but it was
So
just some kind
I've
of
read
fear
through like
mongering.
Arteta's press conference, and he didn't say anything about that. So personally, I wouldn't put any weight in that. If it's just
Yeah, you're
unless
right.
it's from
I'm
like
just having a
an
look.
actual ITK, I wouldn't bother reading into that personally.
Yeah, I don't see anything recent that's
Nima's
relevant.
scaremongering the Arsenal fan base. We've got a fit squad, and he's trying to shit on it.
We are. But now I think long term, what I expect to see though, so just one thing I will add is I do
Yeah.
think that Partey will get minutes off the bench on Monday. So I'm
So do
pretty
I.
confident that he will not start, but that he will come on. In terms of him being ready for Porto home, I do wonder if the plan is to have him ready to start that game, as you said, like get some of these injured players ready to start. So I feel like one of him or Jorginho is going to start that game at home against
too.
Porto. I just don't know which
Yeah.
one.
But yeah, go on for this one. What are you committing
Yeah,
to
for this
your
one, I'm just
prediction?
going for the 11. Yeah, the 11 that we played last week with the 8-day
Okay.
break. Yeah, the
Sure.
one on
So-
screen. So Martinelli, Havertz up front, Saka, Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, and then keeping his place. I just feel it still comes a bit too early, and there's just no need. That we've got to where we have with 25 goals scored and 3
Yeah.
conceded or something in February with this squad. Like the other guys rushing back for Sheffield United. It just, like, no disrespect to Sheffield United, but it just does not feel like the kind of game where we need to rush them back in for.
Yeah, I think similar. There's part of me that thinks Smith Rowe could get a start. And instead of Trossard coming in, it could be
Instead of
Smith
Trossard,
Rowe and Havertz interchanging. Just because I think he's been getting more minutes off the bench, and I feel like either. Let me put it this way: I would not be surprised if at Sheffield United away or Brentford at home, Smith Rowe gets a start. I'm just not sure which one. But for the sake of this, my predicted 11 is I think Trossard will come back in for Jorginho. And I think it will be Raya White, Saliba, Gabriel Kivior, Odegaard, Rice, Havertz, and then Saka, Trossard, Martinelli. And I think our bench is going to look unbelievable. We'll have Partey, Jesus on there. Vieira's potentially back in the squad. And I think it's like the knock-on impact of having these people back is the ability to kind of rotate people and take people off early, keep the legs fresh. So I'm really excited to see how we manage the squad over Sheffield United away, Brentford at home, Porto at home, because I think this is one where we're going to be able to flex it. Like I kind of forgot how strong our squad is when it's fully fit, and not everyone's even back yet. So kind of mad.
It's just crazy, isn't it? Like, I think in 2024, our expected goal difference is like 1.9, and like the next team along is like 5 or 6. And
You
that's
mean the
Man
expected
City.
goals against, or
I think it's the difference. So it's the expected
Okay.
goals minus the expected goals conceded. So
Right.
I think like we have the smallest expected goal difference. We also have the smallest expected goals against. I don't think we had the most expected goals for, but we're like
Really?
one goal away from it. Like
Oh,
for
wow.
the whole season though. Like
Oh,
we've
for the
made
whole
we've
season.
caught up,
Oh,
we've caught up a lot of ground, but
yeah.
in February, obviously scoring 25 goals and conceding 3 has
Yeah.
really boosted our goal difference up there. But our
Yeah.
expected goal difference is like the best in 2024, just since January in like all of Europe's top 5 leagues. I think it's equal with one team in Europe, Inter
Wow.
Milan,
Yeah, they're
which are
on
like
fire as
obviously
well.
defensive giants, right? Like the Italian defenses are always famous, and
Yeah.
our defense is on par with that right now. So
I'm really
it's
like,
nuts.
given all of the stats you've said, I'm really intrigued by score predictions for this week. Because even outside of Arsenal circles, I feel like a lot of people are the general conversation is like, how many is it going to be? So before we get to that, let's just quickly go through Sheffield United's lineup versus Wolves. Did you see they had that little scrap? I forgot who the players were, but
I
it
saw
was like
2 players
Dyer
going
and Boa.
in a video. Yeah, I literally saw them start like hitting each other, and the ref had to come
Yeah.
and be like, "What are you doing?" Like,
Everything is not good at Sheffield United. Like I wish I had it in front of me I wanted to see when the last time they won a game was. Oh yeah, they beat Luton away a couple of
yeah,
weeks
that
ago.
was
To
a
be fair, but
shock win. I remember that. They
yeah,
just like slapped them out of nowhere.
but before that in the league, I'm scrolling back to the 9th of December where they beat Brentford. Like it's not great, but yeah, for the podcast listeners on the screen, I mean, there's a few names in here. I know I'm not even going to pronounce. I'm going to be like full Paul Merson, but in goal, Grovich, back 3 of Robinson, Trusty, and Ahmed Hadzic. Wing backs of Larouci and Bogle, midfield three of Hammer, D'Souza, Costa, and Norwood, and then up front, obviously Brewster and McAtee. And like they may change it, they may go like 5-4-1 or something rather than the kind of 3-5-2. But either way, I think this is a game where it's, in my opinion, turn up, play your football, and the rest should take care of itself. Like they are poor, like so poor. I'll be able to find it now if you give me 2 seconds. But in terms of how many they've conceded, 66 goals conceded this season,
Just in the league, right?
just in the league. Like that's absurd.
Wow.
They could. I don't think it will happen, but could they concede 100 goals in a domestic campaign? You never know.
Like it's a bit of a stretch from here, but it could happen if
34
they
goals to
collapse.
concede in 12 games. It's not
3
outrageous.
goals a game, you know, they might.
So with that in mind, how many do you think we'll start with?
That is disgusting for them recently. I just feel like for us, it's going to be another walk in the park. I don't want to
Same.
be too confident, but that you don't deserve to win Premier League titles if you can't win at Sheffield United, who've let in 66 goals this season in the Premier League. So yeah, with that in mind, I'd really like to get an away clean sheet here. I was frustrated that we lost the one against Newcastle. I'm gonna go for 4-0 to the
4-0,
Arsenal.
yeah.
That's my prediction.
I'm
Yeah,
going similar. I'm going 5-0. I
I
think,
feel like it's gonna be a very big number. Yeah,
mate, I honestly think, like, you know, people spoke about the Newcastle first half as like complete dominance. I think it will be like that, but sustained over 90. I don't think. Putting it out there, I think there's a possibility Sheffield United don't have a shot on target. I think there's a possibility they break records for least number of touches in our box and stuff. Like, I think it will be that level of
that
dominance.
type of
And
game.
yeah,
Wow.
and I think it could be a cricket score. I'm going 5-0, and yeah, I think it will happen quite early in the game as well, and will really, really flex the squad.
So that's what I'm
Yeah,
hoping, that it's like a runaway with the game, and then those players like, say, the Tomiyasu or the Zinchenko, Partey, Jesus, they're all coming in off the bench. They're getting some minutes in their legs. They're preparing for Porto and Brentford. Then there's a break where we plan for Man City. It feels like there's 2 parts of the season left now in my head. You have this chunk before the international
yep,
break, and then, as you said, the chunk that comes in April after the Man City game. So it's like we need to really just keep going. And I think I saw a quote from, I think it was Ben White actually. So there's talks that he's like agreed a new contract, and he said he wants to stay at the club. He doesn't want to be anywhere else. He loves the club and all that. Hasn't been announced yet, but it seems that he's done the contract
yeah,
extension. Now within that, they were talking to him, and he said, you know, what good, he was like, it's basically useless if we go and win at the Etihad, but then drop points in the other games. He
yeah.
goes, so right now we're just focused on winning every single game. Like it's like the game in front of you is what matters. Like
Yeah, I saw
they
that.
I assume they were asking him
He
about
said
like,
they got
oh,
so
do you
used to
think?
winning, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. So it's like that's what they need to be doing, just winning and winning and winning, just breeding this culture of winning. You can't be not looking at the next 3 matches we have because you're like, oh, I'm gonna prepare for Man City. Oh my God, we're going to the Etihad. Like, what happens will happen there. But it's no good. You could pull out the best performance we've ever done at the Etihad in like my recent memory. But if you're then dropping points in other matches like against Brentford or getting knocked out against Porto, like those are
Well,
still
like we
going to
did
bring you down.
earlier, West Ham, Fulham, both times. So
Yeah,
yeah,
see, if you're doing things like that, if we continue to do that this season, then that hurts. Now, having looked at the fixture run, this might be a bit of a bold claim,
okay,
but
go on.
I don't think in the next 12 games that in the Premier League, by the way, just Premier League, I don't think in the next 12 Premier League games that we lose more than 2 games, you know.
Well, there's only 12 games left, so
Yeah, but still, but 2 losses in 12. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's the maximum I think we will lose in the
okay.
Prem, and that
It is
includes games against City, at Etihad, United at Old Trafford, playing the North
Tottenham
London
away.
Derby, Aston Villa. There's some big games in there, but I just, based on how we are right now, and with everyone coming back into the fold from injuries, I honestly feel that like we can go like all the way to the last few weekends. I
For
think we
what
can
it's worth,
sustain this.
I do agree, and I find it interesting. You know, everyone's talking about the run-ins, and you've probably seen the graphic yourself of like the Arsenal, Liverpool, City's run-ins, like side by side. I do think, like, granted, we've got some tough fixtures, but I think people are really overplaying playing just how, like myself included a couple of weeks ago. Like I think I was like, oh, Liverpool have an easy run in. But then I was looking at some of the fixtures, like Forest away this week. I think that is a banana skin. They've then, okay, granted, Brighton at home, Sheffield United at home, you'd expect them to dispatch them. But then like Man United away, you never know like what time you're playing them. Fulham and West Ham away back to back again. Like they're two sides that you never know. And then they actually have Villa away the penultimate week. So if Villa are going for top four,
Yeah.
you never know. Yeah, I'm
There's
similar to
definitely
you.
times there, but they've also got a lot of congestion. So when you look at like Europa League, if they continue to go through into that, which you would expect they do, they're going to start getting really tough fixture schedule because they're going to have Thursday European games and stuff,
Yeah,
right? I think I've already seen some of the fixtures for Liverpool in April. Someone sent a screenshot and it looked nuts. I don't think all of it's been like fully. Honestly, it was March. So after we basically stopped playing because we don't have the fixture charge, they have like 2 or 3 more matches before the international break. So when we
damn.
finish our last game, they have like 2 or 3 games in the 6 days after that
Yeah,
we're not even playing. Then their players go to international break, then they come back. But it's like you could argue, oh, we're not gonna play for 20 days. What the hell are we gonna do? We're gonna go out of rhythm.
go to
But you
Dubai.
could argue that go to Dubai, exactly. Like just send them again to Dubai. Forget the international break. Call them all out of their squads and fly to Dubai instead. Let's go see the Habibis and train again for Man City. Yeah, trust me. It's I just love Dubai now. Like I've not been since like nearly 20 years ago, but after what it did for our club when we came back from the winter break, I might
Like I
have to
said,
go.
I'm taking full credit. I was there in December. I want to say it was my vibes in Dubai that put Arsenal on this winning run. But no,
Oh,
it's a
I
good
love
point
it.
though. I think I'm just very much on the like, yeah, one game at a time, but also just focus on ourselves. Like if all we can do is beat what's in front of us, we can't control what happens with Liverpool and City, right? So just focus on ourselves, win every game, and I'm still confident the other two will slip up. It's just more, do we have the ability to not? And let's start with Monday, which would make it 7 wins in a row. So
Wow,
yeah,
that would be nice.
yeah, but yeah, let's hope we sustain this run. But
Just
any
before
more
we
from you?
go,
Oh,
yeah, I was
go
going to
for it.
say the last thing. I think I obviously mentioned it when we were together on, was it Wednesday when we did obviously, hopefully, when the video comes out, we can talk about it properly. But for now, like, obviously, just for the guys, like, we managed to join like a fan engagement thing led by Arsenal.com with fans all around the world on Zoom. And there's like 100 of us dialed in remotely, hoping to see some players. And in the end, it was actually quite entertaining. I didn't know Jorginho was such a funny guy. And it
Jorginho's
was
got Riz, man. He's smooth with
yeah, he
it.
was honestly so fun. Like I was like, wow, this guy is really good guy. Like I might have to get a Jorginho shirt if this 1 year extension with a +1 comes through, because it's also word of that on the street. But what I said that day, and I still stand by it, is I feel a lot of us as Arsenal fans, last year it was such an emotional run in. It sapped a lot of mental energy and it was quite demoralizing at the end. And we had a similar scenario with the top 4 the year before. We're now in a situation where we're doing 2 consecutive league runs in a row. And I think I said at the time on Wednesday that, like, I don't remember this happening in my recent
No.
memory. Like, must have been 2 decades ago the last time we competed for 2 league titles in a row. And we've done this in a situation where we're only going to keep getting better. Like, it feels like we're 2 years into like a much bigger picture. And we're not enjoying the journey enough, is what I'm trying to get at. Like, we were so wrapped up in it last year. Now that we're in it for a second year in a row, I kind of feel like we haven't been enjoying just these matches, as you say, game by game, enjoy the big victories, dominating performances,
I think
and
we
having
have, to be
fun.
fair, since this calendar year.
I think this calendar year we have more, but if you
Yeah.
remember, like when we had those like 3 losses, like for example, there was so much head loss, and it's like all it takes is like every time there's a bad result, it's like Arteta out seems to trend on the
Yeah.
timeline. And it's just when you think about it, you put yourself in the shoes of other fans of other clubs right now, and the situations they're in, like Chelsea, Man United, and other clubs. I just can't fathom how you can be there and after every negative one result, it's like straight U-turn into like get everyone out of the club. Like
Yeah.
we're like on this super exciting journey, and what I'm getting at is like just enjoy it, because
Yeah.
like yes, we might not in the end win it. We might win nothing this year. We're against 2 very good teams, but you've got to enjoy this journey and the run-in now. This is exciting. This is what you want to be part of. You want to be involved in these battles all the way till the last day, and they are emotional and stressful situations to be in. But if you don't enjoy it, then
Then
Why
what's
are
the
we
point?
supporting the club? Yeah, like
Yeah,
what was the point? If the only thing you can be happy about is at the end of the season whether you got silverware or not, then by definition, most supporters are not happy in life because
yeah,
only one team wins every trophy, right? So how many winners are there really every year in football? Like a few, like two
yeah,
or three clubs in the Prem win something every year. So if that's not one of your clubs, then like, what about the supporters of every other team below the Prem or all the non-league teams? Like, football is about, like, I just love watching football, being entertained. I love seeing the philosophy in the way we play right now. It just feels like we're united as a club, a fan base, players, everyone's together, and it's like, let's just go on that journey. Let's enjoy it, and whatever happens will happen. But don't get too caught up on like what you said, which is worrying about the other teams and getting stressed out when they win every weekend. Like, just don't think about them. Just
yeah.
look at us, focus on us winning, do what we need to do, and go as far as we can doing what we need to do. If
Very
something
nicely
happens
said.
to the others, it happens.
Yeah,
But yeah, don't focus your energies on them. Like, focus positive energy on Arsenal, not negative energy on Liverpool, Man City, whoever else. I just heads down, focus on us. Let's go get it. Enjoy the running, guys. I honestly just, this is going to be an amazing end to the season. I can feel good stuff coming.
very well said. And on that note, up the Arsenal. Come on.
Come on, you Gunners. Let's go get them.